Let's talk. Relationship 101. Come on, let's talk. Let's talk. Relationship 101. Come on. Let's talk. Relationship 101. Come on, let's talk. Let's talk. Relationship 101. Come on, let's talk.
Well, hello and welcome back to Let's Talk Relationship 101. Today's topic is about, does sex complicate the dating process? Now, wait a minute. Now, I understand that, sex might be a little touchy subject for some of us, but I think that is befitting for us to talk about because it's a process of dating. And I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Mr. Darrell Lomax.
Hello, 101.
And Mr. Reverend Douglas King.
Hello, divas and dudes.
Well, as you know, as I said before, we're talking about, does sex complicate the dating process? Fellas, what y'all think?
Well, Lady Tina, when it comes to sex, a lot of times we look at it as something dirty or something nasty. But from a biblical standpoint, marriage is something that God has created to be enjoyed by two married people. Mm-hmm. And of course, we do know that people that are non-married do engage in physical intimacy. But according to studies, sex, when it's involved in the dating process, it does confuse because, again, it's more than just a physical act. It is an emotional act. Your emotions get involved. Your psychological gets involved. A lot of you gets involved. It's not just the act itself, right? But every part of you.
Now, do you think that it's more complicated for the man or the woman?
I think it's both. See, I believe that when a man has intimacy or sex with a woman, he may think that it's not affecting him, but it does.
It does.
It does. I believe it affects both of them differently. A woman, she may feel like, well, I've given up something precious and value, or she's given up her body, and so that's why she has a tendency to be more emotional, afterwards. And even the man, he may want to deny his emotion, but if that's a routine, he kind of finds himself having feelings toward that female.
Right.
So he has feelings towards his routine.
Right. Right.
Feelings towards his routine.
Right.
What you think, Darrell?
I think it's kind of 50-50. I think if that's what you're going into the dating scene as far as having sex, and that's what you agree on, in the beginning, it don't seem like it complicate things. But I kind of disagree with what you say, Douglas, somewhat, because I think women are more emotionally involved in relationships, whether it's dating or hooking up, than men. And I think when they get into the sex factor of it, I think, like you said, it's something that they given to a man is sacred. And I think with that aspect of it, it kind of makes it more complicated for the woman than it does the man. Because if a woman decides that, let's say they're going through a little dating process and she decides to have sex with that man, hey, if that man walks away afterwards, it affects that woman a whole lot more. Now, if it happens the other way around and the woman walks away, it may affect the man to a point, but not as much as it's going to affect that woman. But I really think that sex does complicate the dating game because out the door, people more or less looking for sex.
Right.
Instead of the dating process.
Right.
Right. We posed a question on our chat line. I posed a question, does sex complicate the dating process? And what I meant by the dating process was like the 3 to 4 months, the first 3 to 4 to 5 months. And I saw such a distinct difference between the women and the men. Now the men was like, and I think only out of 5 men, one said yes. The others said no.
Okay.
But all the women, except for 1 or 2, said yes, it does.
Right.
Now there were a couple of women that felt that they could have a strong mind. They felt that they could stay consistent with just a hookup.
They could just cut.
They could just cut.
They could just
The
cut.
thing was, I could just cut and leave.
Right.
But I totally disagree because of time. When you spend time being intimate and collaborating with the person and becoming one with the person, because no matter what faith you are, no matter what walk of life that you're in, that's just the way it's designed. When you hook up with someone, you become one.
Right.
Because there are things that are, emotions are intertwined. But I feel that both will have an issue with it.
Right.
And the reason being is because that becomes a part of your routine. If I saw you every day at the same time, we dating, we do the same thing all the time, then that means you become a part of my routine, my day.
Right.
You become a part of my schedule.
Right.
And if that is so, that means you integrate it. Now, you're not just gonna have sex. You know you're gonna talk. You know we're gonna have a conversation. You're gonna start, well, let me throw this at you, or let me, I got something I need to do. I want to hear your opinion about it. And before you know it, that person has become a part of your life.
Right.
Right. So, and then all of a sudden, it abruptly stopped. I want to go date someone else.
Right.
I don't want to date you no more.
Right.
I'm going. Somebody gonna have some issues.
Right. There's always the emotional baggage.
Always.
It may not be the physical, but there's some kind of emotional baggage that we carry when we are that close with somebody. I mean, like I said, men may deny it. They may say, well, I can go on to the next person, but there is some type of emotional trigger that happens when a man has sex with a woman. And a lot of times, using Sierra and her husband now, Russell Wilson, they were known to come out publicly and say that they were going to wait until they got married.
Correct.
To have physical intimacy, and that's rare. That's rare,
Especially in football.
especially in professional sports.
Right.
Period.
So it is possible.
It is possible.
I know when you pose the question, I know Mark A says, sex is what you make of it. And if you let it get into your head and complicate things, then you're weak-minded. And I kind of agree on the first part of it. It is what you make of it. But weak-minded, you don't know what that kitty or that, the purple symbol is doing, how it's gonna affect you. So you can't really say a weak-minded person, because you've got some of the strongest-minded people, and sex could break them down.
It could, because it's a part of it being intimate. And then on top of that, when you involve sex in the process, during the first 4 or 5 months, I would say, my own personal opinion, that's when I'm getting to know you. That's when I'm getting to know whether I even like you or not. You know what I'm saying? That's when I get a chance to see am I gonna like your conversation? Do I really?
That's if you dating, right?
Right.
Okay.
But if I've already hooked up with you on the first date,
right?
I mean, that's over. I already see what I like and what I don't like.
Right.
I think.
Right.
Well, we're gonna take a break right here. We'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. Today's topic that we were just speaking on was, does sex complicate the dating process? And what we mean by the process is like in the first few months of your dating. Does adding sex or the one night stands or the after 2 or 3 months, I think it's time to get physical kind of thing, does that complicate the relationship? So fellas, we were saying that in some cases it does, and But some cases it doesn't. So what you think?
I would say to anyone who is considering having sex, you need to be careful that that's not all that person wants. See, whenever a man or woman hooks up, there's always something that they want. Either it's companionship, either it's monetary, something tangible, a car, or his or her body. And you don't want to be somebody else's testimony. It's kind of like, you test drive the car,
right.
And you done rode all the miles on that car.
Right.
Now you're ready to get another one.
Right.
But you've invested all of this time, money, and yourself into this person, right. And you come to find out that instead of your relationship developing and growing, now you come to find out that it was a lie. So all I'm saying is that if it gets to that step where you're practicing or thinking about or you're actually doing it, you need to consider, the old saying is, why buy the cow when you're getting the milk for free?
Right.
I'm sorry, but
go ahead.
So you saying wait during the process?
I'm saying that you want to be careful about when you cross that step of sex.
Right.
Yes.
But on the Bible religious and church side, it's more or less wait, right?
Right.
Okay. How many cars have you bought? I'm being the devil's advocate. I'm being the devil's advocate out here because I know I have friends that are gonna say this. Why am I gonna pay $50,000, $30,000 for a car, and I don't know how to drive? And I go pay the $50,000 for the car and drive down the road, and I don't like the way it drives.
I got that one. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Same way in the sex, people want that sample up front.
Right.
They want a test drive up front.
Right.
So what if I test drive here today and I'm like, oh no, I don't like the way that handle.
Okay, so what you're saying is you think that and that's the truth. Most people do believe in today's time. Mm-hmm. And I even know some saved folks probably believe that too.
Right,
They're just not going to admit to it. It's politically correct for me to say that.
Right, right.
But no, I believe that waiting, and I'm going to tell you why. Waiting is better because when you wait, you get a chance to research the automobile. You get a chance to know the drive of it, what's statistics say and how the body is made up, and you get a chance to really get to know that vehicle till you almost know how it drives.
Yeah.
And then once you do experience the drive, it's all that better because you know how to move, how to gravitate towards this, how it stops, how it curves the road, and how, we talk about cars, right?
Yeah,
right. We talking about cars, right?
Right.
Okay, but I'm just saying, but that's the same thing as people. Once my husband and I, we waited we waited months before, and waiting the 3 months or 4 months, I got a chance to know who he was, how he thought. Several dates, going over to the house and sitting down. That was one time and I'm pretty sure he doesn't mind me telling this, but that was one time I had gone over and fell asleep. I woke up, he just had the cover over me, he was on the other couch, and we were just asleep.
Right.
Nothing happened, he didn't join it.
Right.
Now I do realize now, honey, that was a game of yours, but it worked. And shortly after that, it made me more comfortable with him. I felt that I could trust him, and I could give, more to him. I could open up to him more because I realized then he was more invested into me.
Okay, with that being said, you said his little game he played.
It was a game.
Okay. I'm still the devil's advocate here now. He played that game with you, and you said it was 3 or 4 months. 3 or 4 months.
3 or
so,
4.
do you think that there was his sex thing on the side?
Darrell, you trying to get that man killed?
we open. You put your relationship. You put your relationship out here. You put it out here.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. No, I don't.
My bad, Glenn.
No, I don't. I really don't. Because, and really, to be honest with you, it didn't matter at the time. Because who got the respect at the time? You see, because no matter what we think, if a dude or woman is just coming over to lay with you, they're not, in other words, you're in there today, but they don't see you in there tomorrow.
Right.
You know, and so that's the issue.
Right.
You know, for me, is that seeing you, I want to be, I don't care if it's next year, I still want to be in your, I don't want to be your testimony.
Right.
But I want to be somebody that you remember with joy. You know, like, we didn't quite see eye to eye on things, but I really enjoyed that person.
Right.
So after
Because
the 3 months and y'all actually had sex, what you felt like changed, or did anything change or not change?
Actually, it was better. Like I said, I knew the road. I mean, I'm not saying that because, you know, I'm saved, sanctified. I'm on point. I'm gonna always tell you, you're supposed to wait. It's always better to wait. But we have to be realistic in this world, and you have to know that people make their own decisions.
Right.
And everybody does not practice the Christian faith.
Right.
So we have to take that in consideration as well.
That's right.
And so, but for me, I just felt that once we did, I felt like he was my husband. We both knew we were the ones. Because we took that time and we knew, I like this person. I want this person in my future. You know? And so, I like that.
And I say this, you know, to everyone, you know, in the state of Mississippi, we have a law that if you're gonna drive, you gotta have a driver's license. If you're gonna, you gotta pay your land tax, you gotta pay house tax, whatever the case is. If you are in a committed relationship and you see yourself with this person, why not commit? You know, to say, you know what, I see you in my future. You know, I know as you at different stages of your life, you want different things. You know, most men will agree that we are attracted by good-looking women. You know, in order for you to get our attention, we don't have to know your name, but we just see you and say that's a good-looking woman.
So y'all are visual learners.
We're visual.
Y'all are visual learners.
We're visual. I mean, we don't know if you can cook. We don't know if you can sew a pants leg. All we know is, man, did you see her?
She look good.
She looked good. She looked good. Yeah. And so that's why, from both sides, you need to really consider where your relationship is going. You know, and can we handle? Are you mature enough? That's why even young children, you know, I didn't let my daughter and my son start dating until they were 16. And even then, I still had boundaries. And so I'm saying to everyone, you know, if you're going to date, if you're going to go out there and try things, have some boundaries.
Right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Boundaries are much better. But we're going to stop here. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Already.
Hey, we're back. Now, fellas, the topic is, does sex complicate things? But I also want to ask this other question. And also, Darrell, you're going to read some of the comments for us as well. When you add sex, or some of us, people are just going to do what they want to do, because I've noticed that in this day and time, people want to be free spirits. They don't want to be confined by commitments. You know, even if you look at C-Spire and the different phone companies, they don't want you to be on the contract. So people just want to do their thing and everything. But with that being said, does it add a title to you? I feel like it does. It adds titles.
It does. Whether you call it casual, whether you call it side piece, or whether you call it laid on the side.
Preacher says side piece.
You know.
That's right. That's their favorite thing about that side piece. Now he's always going to go in. Well, go ahead. It is what it is. It is what it is.
It's already out there. Whatever the case is, you have a title. Now it may not be wifey, it may not be babe, it may not be boo, but you are classified. And I know a lot of people in a relationship want to be classified in some title, but regardless of where you fit, you are put in some type of category by that man or by that woman.
Some good, some bad.
Right, right.
Because you could get the title as a guard too.
Right, right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Yep.
That's exactly right. But I feel that, would you guys say that your, like you were talking about a car,
Right.
would you say your value depreciates with that?
It does. It does, because if you buy a $70,000 Cadillac today and decide that you don't want that Cadillac tomorrow, next week, when you bring it back, it's not a $70,000 Cadillac no more. We don't know how much it's going to depreciate, but you lose value on that car. And I think when, especially a woman, I'm going to say especially a woman, and our young ladies, when they give themselves up, they're losing value.
Yeah.
I really believe they lose
Men too.
value.
Yeah.
Right. Men too, but
Not as much as women.
right, not as much as society says for women. Let's say it like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't, nowadays I don't try to stay so much in tradition.
Right.
Because what was done 50, 60, 70 years ago is no longer done because of the times, and that's good and that's bad. You
Right.
know? But I do think that having sex too early complicates.
Right.
Definitely complicates relationship.
Right.
Especially if you're looking at that person as a wifey or a husband type, and you get into the sexual part of it. What happens is, I think the expectations changes.
Right.
It does.
And
Right.
and when you have the expectation changes, what else is it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What else
you
is
don't
it?
have anything to look
Right.
forward to.
Right.
Right.
That's exactly right.
Right.
That's it. So you saw some of the comments of the question that we asked.
Right. Some of the comments that was on the page, I remember seeing, some said, for some people, sex creates a bond, and we agreed it does, Sometimes it's a good bond, sometimes it's a bad bond. Also, having sex too early could be dangerous, not just in the STD form. There's different things out here that we can contract from having sex, promiscuous sex.
Right.
Also, some of the comments also laid to, if you're looking for a husband and a wife, that should be the gold package you're looking for. If you're searching for gold, that is part of the gold package. The gold package is the sex and the marriage and the family.
Right.
And it all kind of flows in there together. But if you throw the sex in there first, it breaks the package up.
Right. Because see, now I done had sex with you and you might be pretty good, but you don't pay your bills.
Right.
So,
Right.
Or you got bad credit.
Right.
Right.
See, I mean,
Right,
I
I got
mean,
bad credit. I got bad credit.
your credit is messed up, and so and the thing about it is, like I say, when two people come together as far as sex, there's so much emotion involved.
It is.
And so a lot of times the flaws are always there, but because you're so captured by the good feeling and the sex, that you forget that this person got bad credit, this person done took your car, and you had to walk to work and so that's why it's so important for everyone to understand the importance of, again, as we said in an earlier show, about knowing your role.
Know your role.
And see, even though you might be damaged in his hand or her hands, they may have damaged you, but in somebody else's hand, they may remold you and restore you. So just because you had a bad relationship doesn't mean, well, I gotta wear a sign around my neck that says I'm damaged. No, somebody may come along, because again, just
Scarlet letter.
and rebuild you all over again, and then that old love say and say, man, I didn't know you could lose all that weight.
But what's the saying? One man's trash is another man's treasure, or a woman treasure.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. But you know what, guys? I'm gonna tell you something now. Maybe I might be quite different, but I don't like a man that has had so many miles. Like, for instance, I never wanted to date a guy that would talk to anybody and anything.
That might be another show.
I mean, I'm just
Because
saying.
because just cutting in on that, do people really want to know how many partners that a person has had?
Well, I would say you probably don't need to know how many partners they have, but do your research.
Right. Do your research. I like that.
Right.
Don't ask questions that you're not ready to handle.
Exactly.
Right.
But do your research.
But you can do your research, and you can do both by just watching the person.
Right.
So that's why it's very, very important that you pull the physicality back first, because I'm telling you, it clouds your judgment. Because if that dude is crazy, or if that woman is crazy, but they can lay down great sex, or they can have great sex, like you said earlier, I have a tendency to kind of overlook some things,
right?
Because they made me feel. But after a while, you're gonna get tired of, I gotta go to Jackson. You can't ever give me any money, or I can't rely on you for anything.
Right.
But I can rely on you to do that.
Right.
You can flip it, slip it, tip it, and throw it around, and like I'm dough, rub it down, however.
Well, that goes back to an earlier show. You thinking relationship-wise, he's probably still in the hookup stage.
Know your role.
Know your role.
Know your role.
Know your role.
Relationships evolve.
Yep.
They evolve, and maybe you have evolved to the courtship stage where you're saying, I've been dating this person a year, 2 years, 3 years, and they're just still talking about, well, let's just hook up. I mean, and you're at that stage where you're talking about, man, I need something more solid.
I just cannot understand how men could just continually be with the person
because you're not a man.
After time.
Because you're not a man.
I do understand that you can wash it off, and the woman, you have to come in. The woman has to open up. And women, I think that's the problem. Because we have to open up and we have to let in to where you guys are just there and y'all can wash off and it's done. Just think about it. Because when she opens up and you have to come in, you make a deposit. You leave. It's just like one of those trucks. Those money trucks. Mm-hmm. They come, they make a deposit, and then they move.
Right.
Now, as we said before, one thing about sex is it comes with emotions. It doesn't matter what it is, or who you are. It doesn't matter your walk in life. It just does. Now, whether you're a hookup, relationship, or whether it's just something that you're just doing from time to time, or one night stands, it's something emotional about that. So, with that being said, just remember, always protect yourself, protect your heart, protect your body, and just know you got to have a real conversation with that person. And as Pastor said, know your role. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, one love.
Peace.
Later, divas and dudes.